The Yamaha Rajdut 350 is more than just a motorcycle, it's a legacy on two wheels that marked a turning point in India's biking culture. Introduced in the early 1980s, the Rajdut 350 was essentially the Yamaha R15V5 from Japan, rebadged and assembled by the Escorts Group under the Rajdut brand. At a time when the Indian motorcycle market was dominated by low-capacity, commuter-focused bikes like the Bajaj Chetak, Lambretta scooters, and the humble hero Honda CD100, the arrival of the Rajdut 350 brought with it a seismic shift. It was a two-stroke performance machine that delivered thrilling power, unmatched acceleration, and a sound that could only be described as mechanical symphony. What made the Rajdut 350 stand out immediately was its 347cc parallel twin, air-cooled, two-stroke engine. It produced a then astounding 30.5 horsepower in its high-torque HT version and around 27 horsepower in the later low-torque LT version, introduced to suit Indian roads and fuel quality. This was a serious jump from the 7 to 10 horsepower range of most motorcycles available in the country at that time. The HT version was capable of doing 0 to 100 km/h in just under 7 seconds, a figure that remains impressive even by today's standards in the retro and classic bike segment. With a top speed nearing 140 km/h, the Rajdut 350 wasn't just fast for India, it was fast, period. The design of the Rajdut 350 echoed the global Road 350 it was based on. It had a classic upright stance, a peanut-shaped fuel tank, chrome fenders, and spoke wheels that screamed vintage appeal. The twin-pod instrument cluster featured a speedometer and tachometer, a rare sight for Indian bikes back then. The broad exhausts and boxy frame gave it a muscular look that was different from anything else on the roads during the 1980s. It looked the part of a true performance machine, and it delivered on that promise. Handling was another arena where the Rajdut 350 excelled. It had telescopic front forks and twin shock absorbers at the rear, providing a stable and comfortable ride even at higher speeds. The bike had drum brakes on both ends, which, while inadequate by today's standards, were acceptable in the context of the era. Riders appreciated the confidence-inspiring chassis, and enthusiasts learned to exploit the power band with skill, especially because the bike had a strong surge of power once it entered the mid to high RPM range. The gear shifts were crisp, and the power delivery was addictive, making it a favorite among speed junkies and amateur racers. Despite its exhilarating performance and unique character, the Rajdut 350 was not a commercial success. The reasons were several. First, the bike was expensive. It was priced significantly higher than the average motorcycle, making it accessible only to the affluent or the truly passionate. Second, the maintenance demands were beyond what most Indian consumers were used to. It needed high-octane fuel, frequent servicing, and a keen understanding of two-stroke mechanics. Oil mixing, spark plug fouling, and tuning the carburetors were part and parcel of ownership, and these factors intimidated the average buyer. Fuel economy was another concern. At a time when mileage was one of the most critical buying factors for motorcycles in India, the Rajdut 350's average of 20 to 25 km/h was considered exorbitant. This was the era when bikes boasting 80 km/h were becoming popular. The two-stroke engine, while fun and responsive, was not economical, and fuel prices were steadily climbing. All these issues made the Rajdut 350 a niche product, a misunderstood legend that perhaps arrived too early for its market. But for those who owned one, or even got to ride one, the Rajdut 350 left an indelible impression. It became a cult classic, especially among the biking community. Enthusiasts modified their bikes, added expansion chambers, race kits, and custom paint jobs. Street racing scenes in cities like Bangalore, Pune, and Delhi saw the Rajdut 350 as a dominant force in underground racing circles. The bike's ability to outperform cars on city roads and its glorious two-stroke soundtrack earned it respect and admiration. Over time, however, the bike faded from the mainstream. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Escorts Group stopped producing the Rajdut 350 due to poor sales and increasing emission norms. It was replaced by more fuel-efficient and commuter-friendly motorcycles. But its story didn't end there. The bike gained a second life as a collector's item. Today, well-maintained or restored Rajdut 350s fetch a premium price in the vintage motorcycle market. Clubs and communities dedicated to the bike thrive on social media, sharing restoration tips, sourcing rare spare parts, and celebrating the legacy of India's first true performance motorcycle. One of the most endearing qualities of the Rajdoot 350 is how it has stood the test of time. The two-stroke motor, if maintained well, still runs with a distinctive roar that turns heads. The raw, unfiltered riding experience it offers is something that modern bikes with electronic aids and quiet four-stroke engines can't replicate. There's no ABS, no traction control, no digital display, just pure mechanical engagement between rider and machine. That's why the Rajdoot 350 continues to attract a loyal fanbase, even among younger riders who were born decades after its production ceased. In many ways, the Rajdoot 350 laid the foundation for the performance biking culture in India. It inspired a generation to think beyond mere transportation and explore biking as a passion, a lifestyle. Today's superbikes, from Yamaha R15 to Royal Enfield's Interceptor 650, all owe a debt to the Rajdoot 350 for opening that door. It dared to be different at a time when conformity ruled the roads. It asked questions of its riders: are you ready for power, speed, and raw thrill? And for those who said yes, it delivered an experience they would never forget. Even Yamaha acknowledges the legacy. While the road name might be long gone, its spirit lives on in models like the R3, the MT series, and the performance DNA that Yamaha incorporates into its bikes today. The tuning fork logo still symbolizes speed, precision, and performance, values the Rajdoot 350 proudly carried in its era. The Rajdoot 350 may not have been a mass success story, but it was a cultural milestone. It became a rite of passage for motorcycle enthusiasts, a machine that separated the casual riders from the purists. It wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a symbol of rebellion, freedom, and aspiration. It gave Indian roads their first real taste of torque, throttle, and thrill. In today's world of fuel injection and digital dashboards, the carbureted, oil-smoking Rajdoot 350 remains a nostalgic throwback to a simpler, purer form of motorcycling. It's not just about riding, it's about feeling every vibration, every gear change, and every scream from the twin exhausts as the revs climb. That kind of visceral experience is rare, and that's why the legend of the Yamaha Rajdoot 350 refuses to die.